Hello, guys. Welcome to Couch Entertainments. I am Joe Dubs, and we are going to be covering some of episode 5 here. I am going to be giving you kind of like a spoiler review. I'm trying like different ways as far as what I'm going to be more comfortable and what is going to be easier for me to create this content and get it out for you guys. So, what I did is I did some timestamps as far as, what scenes came out to me, and I kind of gave you my opinion on that. So it's going to like steer away from the whole plot, presentation, writing. And I kind of give that as far as, the prosthetic of the big infected guy and the scene as far as the sniper scene. But I wanted to do it this way just to see if I feel comfortable doing this as far as editing, because I had to like edit all the ums and my thoughts as what I'm thinking to say next. Maybe I need to start scripting out these reviews. So that's another thing I'm looking into. But if you have anything as far as if you like the way I structured it or you hate it, please say it in the comments. And I want to make this clear: when you are giving me criticism, don't be like, "Oh, it's trash," and just give me your opinion. Give me if you want me to say it a certain way, a structured way, or give me some more than just one word of being like it's trash or that you're garbage and all that stuff. I want to get better at doing this. Grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's get into some couch entertainment, and I will show you the scenes right about now. All right, so it looks like in this scene there was some type of uprising between the QZ zone. They didn't agree with Fedra, so they had an uprising and started hanging and killing government officials, kind of showing what happened and how possibly Kathleen got in charge during this uprising. And it looks like Sam is deaf, and Henry's doing sign language at him, and it's showing how they were pretty much stealthing throughout the streets while whatever army that is controlling the QZ zone now is going after them. And it leads in the episode of what's going on with Henry and Sam. What I like about this scene here is you have Kathleen, who's talking to prisoners, probably from the uprising, the collaborators, as they were saying in the episode. I like how she's interrogating them, asking where Henry and Sam is. Again, building up the story of why she has a personal vendetta against Henry and Sam. And I think this was done well to kind of build the villain character of this episode, of these past two episodes, on why she's making it personal. And ultimately, which again, there's going to be a con about Kathleen near the end of this episode, but I feel like the building of what they were building upon pretty much from episode 4, now episode 5, now we have a bigger picture on why she killed the old man, the doctor, and now we're getting the full picture of why she pretty much hates Henry. I do really like this scene. It shows how brutal she is, especially when she gets her answer and she just wants to kill them anyway. And I think that is great writing, in my opinion, as far as Kathleen's character. But I think it does fall short when we get later on in the episode. And here we have is the old man. Now, in episode 4, I was kind of like clueless because she pointed a gun, talked about her brother, and then made it like personal of killing this person, and I didn't understand why. And I'm happy that they showed us in episode 5 as why this old man needed to die when she shot him in episode 4, because she was helping Henry and Sam and didn't give the information that she wanted, just like how she was talking to the collaborator. He's not going to speak. Why am I going to waste my air with this guy? And that's why he got shot. So I like that we got clarification on who this character was. Again, just a blip in this world, in this story, but I do like how they written him into episode 5, especially getting the picture of what he was in episode 4. I do like in this episode that we're getting the point of view of Henry and Sam, especially when they're in an attic. And I do like, by the way, that in the attic you see the superhero stuff with Sam, and that's why he has the paint on episode 4 on his face and all that stuff. And when Kathleen went into the attic and sees that there's drawings that they were once there. And I do like that we got their point of view, because we're seeing Joel and Ellie when they crash into the laundromat. I think it's cool that we're getting that flashback halfway through the episode to pretty much the point where they're getting guns in their face. And I do like that because now we know that the story is going to go forward and that we're getting that backstory instead of what episode 4 was, where it was very vague, where, you know, we're looking at the doctor getting shot, we're looking at them pointing guns at Joe and Ellie, and then seeing the addict with the drawings and all that. So I appreciate that we're getting this point of view as far as what they're seeing and what led them to find them instead of it just being random. I do like this scene between Joel and Henry because Joel still has that mentality of survival instinct, so he's not really trusting Henry to the fullest, and it seems like he's being half true with him here, where he's a collaborator and that he knows a way out, but then he says things like, I think this is the way, I think it's clear. So I'm thinking, and they make it known in the episode that his guns are empty, so he needs someone that knows what they're doing. He already sees that Joel knows what he's doing based off of the scene where they were in a laundromat, seeing them shooting at the people that are chasing after him and Sam. So I do appreciate that scene because they come up with the whole thing about moving in tunnels, and it seems like Ellie's, you know, part of it. And I just want to bring up this scene too because they do get to a point in the tunnels where there was like an underground settlement. Again, I do like that they're giving this lore that when stuff hits the fan, that there was people that are underground getting away from the infected. And I do like the scenes that with Ellie and Sam, you know, playing together and then talking about the comic. But then he brings up the point that he's running away from Kathleen because he has something to do with. He also brings up that Sam has leukemia and he needed medicine. So what he did is he gave up Kathleen's brother to pretty much get that medicine. Obviously, he felt guilty because he looked up to this guy. But in order to save Sam, they had to give up the leader of probably the resistance to Fedra. That's pretty much, you know, the backstory with that. I kind of wish we did get to see that because we get like another scene here where Kathleen, more backstory is, and I forgot who the bearded, I'm just going to call him the bearded merc because these characters essentially are not going to be out there the whole show and it doesn't really matter. But Kathleen, the leader, is in what it seems like their room, her and her brothers, and she's kind of reminiscent about that and pretty much saying, you know, we need to kill Henry because of what he did to her brother. I believe the bearded merc says your brother wouldn't want that and kind of says, well, that's the difference between me and him. And I thought, again, building up Kathleen to be this badass villain, I'm fine with. Action finally picks up because, you know, they're walking down the street. And they start to get a little cocky. They start to like talk a lot. And we get this scene. From here on out, everything goes freaking crazy and I love it. So they're doing like a Saving Private Ryan moment where the guy up there with a sniper rifle is sniping him down. You know, Joel goes around and again, not an important character, but it's just an old man with a sniper rifle, probably just survived. Or maybe he's the lookout for the uprising people. You know, he tells him don't do it and he gets shot, and then he's up there with the sniper, and all of a sudden the people start coming with bulldozers bulldozing cars, and there's explosions. You know, he kills the one that's chasing after Ellie, Sam, and Henry, and they crash into there. And there's a part where Henry's like, I need you to run with Sam so that he could sacrifice himself to Kathleen. Here's what I have a problem with, especially when you're trying to make like this post-apocalyptic situation. Like in real life, if someone had a vengeance, they would never literally when she sees the dude, I would be taking out my pistol and shooting him if I was that angry about this one guy who got my brother killed. Now you could probably say that maybe she was good before her brother dying, and maybe she was conflicting in some way of killing him. But then obviously it gets interrupted by the infected. Because remember that sinkhole that we saw in episode 4 where it possibly could be the infected? Well, surprise, surprise, it's the infected. And they kind of give a hint before as far as what is going on. What did the government do as far as the infected? They put them down underground. And now they're finally emerging from the ground. Now I'm trying to get a picture. There we go. We get the big dude. And apparently, that is not CGI. They actually use prosthetic makeup and all that stuff, and it looks amazing. Now, this is supposed to be inside of a gymnasium in the game, so I don't mind the setting change. I think it's actually pretty cool that they were on this long street and you have Joel in the house sniping at people. And I love the scene of Ellie running around the street and Joel amazingly shooting every infected, or at least distracting the infected so that Ellie can get away. Now, Henry and Sam are both in trouble. I think at this moment right here, this is where you see Sam get bitten or at least infected. Now, this is what I had a problem with. There's a part where a little kid, a little infected kid, is chasing after Ellie in the pickup truck. And I noticed that. Now, keep in mind, I'm not complaining about Joel not killing that person, but it kind of showed the hand a little bit that eventually that little infected kid, clicker or whatever, is going to, attack her. And that's why I have a problem with Hollywoodized post-apocalyptic setting, because again, in the real world, and they're trying to make this in a sense kind of be realistic. Now, I know a lot of people can be like, well, this could never happen really, but they're writing it like it could be real. I think if you wanted to make her badass, you would want to kill Henry. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, in the game, Henry doesn't die at this point. And I would say, I think it would be, if you wanted to build Kathleen for more than 2 episodes, you could make her a mini villain and stretch out even more seasons to like milk this franchise. At this point, I'm like, oh, she's dead right away. When she gets attacked right here, I'm like, well, you built her up just for her to get a nothing burger of a villain. Like, you see all this uprising and destruction, and then all of a sudden just gets freaking whacked by a infected, and you're just like, wow. Like, I thought this was building up to be something, amazing, as far as kind of like, you think about The Walking Dead, right? Remember the governor? Like, you would think that Kathleen would have some type of governor energy or vibe that, you'll be threatened by this person. But no, automatically she's just gone. They build up to this scene, and I wanna point out Bella Ramsey. This is her best episode as Ellie, because I think she really shines seeing another kid and not just seeing more adults than kids. So I do appreciate that we get to see that interaction between her and Sam, especially with the comic book. You notice right away because he says the infamous, well, if if you turn into a monster, are you really a monster inside? The only thing I was kind of weirded out about, like, she says my blood is magical, and maybe she was just trying to make him feel better. I think she's smart enough to know that just taking your blood and putting it on the cut is not going to heal it. I think ultimately she was just trying to make him feel better. She does that. And then because they were both supposed to stay awake together, she falls asleep. He's sitting there and he turns into an infected. Another powerful thing is Henry. They're waking up from all this craziness. Joel is scared, but I guess he was starting to feel comfortable with these people. He starts to grab the gun, but Henry grabs the gun before him and doesn't shoot him. He shoots at his feet just to show that, get away from me. As you could tell, I'm not going to show the blood. Henry takes out Sam. You could look at it 2 ways, because you got to think of Sam defeating leukemia, him getting over that and probably feeling better, and now being infected by this virus. He's putting him out of his misery so that he's not in pain, I guess. To go back to what Sam was saying, as far as, am I me on the inside when I'm being a monster? Because you don't know how the person, if they're knowingly seeing what's happening as they're going crazy with this fungi in them, and maybe he just thought to cope with that is that I need to put him out of his misery. I truly don't think he was protecting Ellie, because they they just met each other. And I truly think that it was him ending his pain, whether it be leukemia and the infection from the fungi at the same time. And that's why he had, I mean, obviously, him shooting Sam, that's going to react or something. But ultimately, he does get sad and kills himself. So we had more suicides on the show. It's just a depressing show. Episode made me solidify that these are Joel and Ellie finally, because Joel is finally, he's not being that hard ass too much, but he's like starting to have feelings for Ellie, and it kind of shows, especially when he was having conversations with her last episode. And then obviously seeing that Ellie is upset, of her friend that she just made about, talking comics with and having fun with, died. And just like she kind of alluded last episode, she had to, kill somebody, but didn't allude to it. I know what it is, that probably in the DLC in the game, she had to kill her friend because her friend is infected. And then obviously she befriended this kid, and he got infected and ultimately died. So she, she feels upset, and, her leaving on the grave, "I'm sorry." And if I can get that shot, there we go. There's the shot right there. "I'm sorry." And that's just Ellie. I think what she's meaning is that sorry, not because of dying, but not staying up with him, because maybe that was a moment of being alone, because she promised Sam that I will stay up with him so that he wouldn't turn. And obviously she fell asleep and he turned, and ultimately him dying because of that. And again, I think Bella Ramsey shines in this episode. I think she shines in this episode so far throughout the whole season. It took 5 episodes, but she finally solidifies Ellie. And I believe Joel is starting to solidify himself as the character from the game. So overall, like, I had a lot of positive things to say about this. Hello, everybody. I'll just, in conclusion, so overall, I really like this episode. It, like I said during my analysis, as far as what Joel and Ellie's character, I now do believe that they are solidified to, be these characters. Before, I was kind of iffy on Joel in certain scenes, and Bella Ramsey as Ellie, I was kind of like, I'm not liking her, but I really, really liked her in this scene. From beginning to end, like I said, I do like the flashbacks that they did with Henry and Sam and Kathleen, because we see how Kathleen has built up this anger for Henry, and the reason of her brother being killed by Fedra, and obviously why she killed the doctor, because the doctor was in this episode helping Henry and Sam. And also, why Henry and Sam were running away from Kathleen is because Henry needed medicine for Sam because he had leukemia, and he had to give up Kathleen's brother. And then it finally got up to the part where it ended in episode 4, where they put guns that were not loaded in front of Joel and Ellie, and they had a plan to pretty much escape the city. Now, the badass scene of that street in the sniper tower and seeing all the infected clickers come out and attack everybody, that was amazingly shot, especially Ellie trying to escape and Joel shooting all the infected from the house was really cool. And obviously seeing the prosthetic makeup of that big boomer like infected clicker thing or whatever it's called, it looked really good, and smashing people and chasing after people. The bearded merc, I am sad that he had such a small role. The only downside, like I said, they built up Kathleen to be this villainous person just for her to get attacked by that small clicker and dying like that. That kind of, I was like, maybe we could have used her chasing after Joel in any way, but obviously with the whole Sam being infected, and Henry killing himself. I mean, obviously, there's no one to chase anymore unless they wanted to chase after Joel and Ellie for killing some of their people. But I just didn't like how she got killed off right away. It kind of just was a dud, in my opinion. But if I had to put a rating on this, I'm gonna give it a cloud 9, like the couch is on cloud 9, because it was a really good episode, and I want to say this is the best episode out of the whole season so far. Now, I will give this like a 4.7 out of 5. It's not gonna be a perfect score, but definitely up there. It's the top rated episode for me so far, and I cannot wait to see episode 6. You can only go up from here, and hopefully they don't ruin that, but we will see on that. But we will end this review here. If you like what you saw, make sure you hit that like button. Obviously, if you don't like what you saw and you have opinions about it, make sure you hit the thumbs down and give me your opinion. Like I said, not one word. If you have something to say about it, I want to hear the whole thing because I like interacting with everybody. And if you like the content here, please hit subscribe and hit the bell. But until next time, I will see you on the couch in next video. Bye.